I guess we are live at 11:05. Haven't done that for a while, but I'm BC. This is Spirit Cars, and we're on a new platform. Not a new platform for us. We're on Spirit Cars on YouTube. If you go there, this is where we're live now. We used to do the show pretty regularly on Facebook. So what we're going to do is list it on Facebook after the fact, after it uploads onto YouTube. So if you want to watch us, if you want to see this, I think you can subscribe, and there's notifications. Can you hit notifications and bells and whistles, whatever YouTube does to let you know that we're live. And then I see that there's places where you can comment. So after these shows, I usually go to the computer after about 20 minutes or so and look at the comments that you're making as the show's going on, and then we'll try to answer them. Josh, the voice of Spirit Cars behind the camera here, is he'll look like a great cameraman today, because we got this fancy thing that just auto. Is it following me?
Mm-mm.
That's not working. Okay, well anyway, you're gonna have to be a good cameraman to be a good cameraman. So there it is. We're live, 11:05. We're back. This is Dorothy, my body man Gary, and my painter. This is Kendall's car, and whether he keeps the name Dorothy or not, she's a Dorothy. So this is Dorothy. We've been working on it. Chassis is finished. The wheels are on. It's like underneath all the paper, it's looking really good. And normally we're going to paint it off the car, but we put it on here to make sure everything's fitting. We've got a hood on it. Well, here's the hood here. And the way we do our hood, you can see there's a rib in here. It really does a great job of stiffening the hood. And we get it on there, everything's on to match the body line here, and when you bolt it on, it gives you a real clean body line, and there's no flex in the hood that way. So that's the reason it's back on the chassis for now. And then what we'll do is, as soon as he's done blocking a little bit more, probably today, it will come off of the chassis. We'll put the chassis back in the build area and paint the car off of the chassis. But right now we've got it all matched real good. I mean, there's some cool stuff underneath here, which we absolutely don't want to get overspray on or even dust on. So there's a lot of people will say, you know, paint it with the doors on, paint it with the doors off. There's a lot of different pros and cons to that. Depending on the type of color you're spraying, you know, you may want the doors on to get all the color to be the same, because if you paint it here and get some of the true candy colors, if I got 3 coats here and not quite 3 coats of the transparent color on the door, when I paint them separate, there's going to be a color difference. And other colors are so simple, you just paint them and they go. But the story for today is blocking. Blocking, blocking, blocking. You can never block too much. I mean, you can never block too much. And it doesn't take a whole lot of skill to block. I mean, you do have to be able to feel the curve and get it going. And there's a couple ways. I personally am not a big guide coat fan. I don't know. It's probably one of my stronger suits. I can feel the shape, and I can feel the curve. So and you can see a lot of times when you block it your first time, it's going to hit and it's going to knock off the high spots. So this has been blocked even before it was primed, then it's been primed, and then it's blocked again, it's primed one more time. This is the last blocking for the last primer, and then it will be ready for paint. So some of the ways we do that, and here's the hood with no guide coat. Here's the guide coat on the door. So let's go over it. I just walked around the shop randomly just before we did this video, and I start picking up some of the blocks that were laying around. This looks like a foam tube for insulating your pipes. We use stick-it paper, so they found this around here. It's soft, but it's got a nice round curve. I bet he's using it for something like this right here. This would be a good way to get into that. But you can see I'm not hitting all the way in there, so I got to be careful. And again, there's no one way to do it. I see he had some stick-it paper on a scratch pad. All right, well, and then, you know, honestly, the tip of my finger could be a block. It's soft, it's kind of got this shape, you know. One thing you do not do, though, if you're going to just block with paper, do not block with this part of your hand. What you'll do is you'll be running 3 grooves, 4 grooves, depends how many fingers you're hitting. Always try to use this part of your hand. But if I'm coming in this corner, this looks like a good tool for that, so I'm sure he had that out for that. So I'm wanting to get that shape, and I'm wanting to feel good. You can kind of see it's going to be all slick by the time I'm done. Any part that's not slick, or that is slick still, it's not sanded, it's a high spot or a low spot. The sanded parts are your taking down the high spot, getting it down. So once it's all sanded, then you can tell it's been blocked and it's straight. On a big long piece, like this hood, this is a very hard block. There's shorter ones. Here's a block. It's a very soft block. You can see how flexible that is. Here's the same type of block that it's a lot harder. Here's a little one, cute little one I found laying around. Here's one of the hard blocks like this one here. Just got a piece of paper on it. I don't even see the classic one. It's about like that big with the big hump, and you open up the sides and put the paper in it. This is unique. Here's a block. It's Velcro, so they make sticky paper that's Velcro. It's got a lot of shapes here. So if you're going to have some funky shape here, this is Velcro. You can just put your paper onto it, and it creates that shape. Here's one for this shape. A lot of different shapes. You can probably see all those in there. I don't know that you need to get so extensive with a kit like that. That's not mine. Again, I've got all these, and I make shapes with that. So I'm going to block here a little bit, and you may see what I'm talking about. And don't just go one direction, kind of back and forth, and don't go like this. What you're going to do, you can dig grooves with the corner, and it would be real easy to do that. So I'm kind of going at an angle with it. And if you can see in there, can you see some of it is sanded and little bits of it are not? Can you see that in there? If you can't, when you're sanding, you'll be able to see that in person. But there's these spots that aren't quite sanded yet. Well, they're a little bit lower. So as I'm taking the top part off, I'm getting that down, getting that down, getting that down. And the goal is, when I see a reflection, I want to see Josh. I don't want to see a funhouse mirrors kind of Josh. Although sometimes we could help straighten some things out and bend some here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to we want a true reflection. So that's kind of the goal. On these rounded cars, I kind of like it a little easier, because if you got a big long straight panel, I mean, that reflection, you can tell if it's not an exact opposite. But on the curved panels, it's curved anyway, and it's just, for me, it's easier. Some people don't get the curves quite as easy. They get the straights better. Everybody's a little bit different. So this on the block, on the guide code. Now the guide code is going to all come off. But it helps you see. Now, surely you can see the difference in this one here. You can see where the black guide coat is still at. Those are low spots. So that's what the guide coat is doing here. You're just putting a different color on there. So as you're sanding it all off, you're catching your high spots and your low spots. And the goal is, you don't want high spots or low spots. You want it smooth. And well, smooth is not a good word, and straight is not a good word. You just want a reflection that's going to give you, straight is not a good word. I don't know if there's a good word. What would you call it? I'm just blocking. Blocking it so it follows the contour of the car, and it's not ripply. It's just a good smooth. It'd be like going on a lake in a perfect day. It's like glass. A little bit of wind, you get a ripple in there. So getting some of these curves though, I'll give you a little bit of a trick. On this, kind of work to the edge. On a big one, that would be good. I would hand do around here and be very careful what block I use. But we do a lot of shapes around here. I mean, you can see there's a lot of different cars, a lot of different shapes. There's body lines, there's just all different shapes. And we say this is a 32.3 window, we say that's a 32.5 window, we say that's a 34. But honestly, what it is, it's Spirit's version of that car. This is not an exact replica of that car. The top's been chopped, the door, you know, doors are flush mounted on some of them, firewalls are recessed, body lines are created, so pretty much have to build a plug. And a lot of times we start from nothing. A lot of these cars started with a real car that had just been cut and done and made into a hot rod, and then once we get to what we want, then we'll go ahead and build a mold off of it. And it's gotta, again, we make that really straight, because the better the mold is, the straighter it is, and you're getting an exact mirror of what you have in the mold. So I wanna build this shape. It's a raised area. You know, if I took my bondo spreader and I tried to raise that up or do whatever I'm gonna do to get that shape, it's kind of tough. But if you take your bondo spreader, or whatever you're gonna use, I take my awesome knife I just got from my kids for my birthday. I think the only reason I got it is because I stole my daughter's knife and wouldn't give it back, so she got me a good one. Hers was a good one, but this was a nice one. So, I'm gonna just kind of guess at that shape. I'm probably fairly close here. Actually, I am fairly close. But I'll trim this even closer and closer to get the exact shape I want. And now remember, if I got it at an angle like this, it's one shape. If I'm way up like this, you can see the gap between there. So however I want to pull my spreader as I'm doing it, you know, I want to make sure that cut is like that. And I'm big on, I like to bend my spreaders a little bit, because this is going to be going around the turn. So I'm going to, you know, the spreader would be normally like this, straight like that. But as I'm going around the shape of that, I'm just taking my hand and bending it a little bit, because this is sort of rounded. This is going to be here. So I guess there's geometry involved in there somewhere, but I just spread bondo. I'm just an old body man. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it around here. There'll be no hole, you know what? How long are we into this? 5 minutes?
13.
Y'all want to see me actually make a body line? We're going to do that. We're going to come over here. I'm going to waste some bondo. To get you a good spreader, you don't want to mix the bondo with that spreader. Mix up a little bondo. We made our paddle. This is my bondo board. Around here, everybody's got their own bondo board. Do not mess with my bondo board. If you want to get in trouble, mess with my bondo board, and that's trouble. And then when I'm done with it, I'll usually do some pinstriping, or it makes a great, great frame to do that with. So you mix your bondo. Got my bondo mixed.
How do you know when it's good, when it's
That's
mixed
why
good?
it's colored. It's methyl ethyl ketone peroxide. And peroxide is what is going to activate it. And I didn't realize until not too long ago. And here's some of our blocking. So different grits of paper. I better talk about that a little bit before we finish this video. But if I want to curve, I want to know where I'm going. So I'm going to take my body line. There's my body line.
And it also helps that you have good tape.
Good tape is good, yeah.
Yeah.
We are, yeah, exactly.
Desperados here.
Can you hear that in the background?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm making my body line. I could sand that, I guess, do a lot of sanding and come up with that shape out of that. But this will make it so much easier. Now I can kind of pull it. I don't have enough on there. Well, y'all sort of get the idea there. The tape is my my guideline, so I didn't follow the tape very well. I'm not gonna pull this off, but if I followed my tape better, I could pull this off then and have a good line there. So you get the idea. I would totally redo this if I was gonna follow that tape line, but nonetheless. And again, I am a stickler about my bondo board, so you're going to have to watch me clean it because I am not going to have me a dirty bondo board. It's taken me probably, oh, this is probably a year-old board, and now it's almost ready for some pinstriping. We'll do that here pretty soon. But depending what you want to do on something like that, there's a sweet spot in the bondo where it's hard enough to sand, but it's not so hard you're sanding a rock. We do 40 grit sometimes for major shaping, but then 80 grit is going to do pretty good. This is 80 grit. This is probably feels like about a 120 or so. Yeah, it is 120. Then we get down to this, maybe a 120 also. Oh, this is a 120 on a stick it. So this is stick it, and this is hook it. So this is like a Velcro on the back of it. And then this is probably, oh, it feels like maybe a 220, 180. So, and then you can get down to 220. I would recommend that you get to 220 before you prime. And then once you get to 220 and prime it, I wouldn't have a problem blocking with 220 again, 180, 220. And then once you get your final prime, we always sand to maybe 400 or 600 before we paint. And then even after you paint, put your base on, put the clear on, and it depends what kind of painter you are, is how thick you know, if you're a hoser, you got heavier coats, or if you want to kind of go lighter. It's just about how many mils you get on there. But you got enough clear on there that you can actually block your clear also, and even make it straighter at the end of the job. And that's what really makes it just an average paint job, a new car type paint job to a show car paint job. Big difference. It's not a really hard thing to do. It just takes a lot of time. So a guy at home can do that. Just take the time and do it. What really makes a professional painter is problem solving. There's always something can go wrong with the paint here, or this or that, and if you can solve those problems like this before they even happen, I mean, that's the kind of skill that comes with just doing it every day. But the paints are simple to use nowadays. Base coat, clear coats, lacquer is done. Don't use a lacquer. I use a polyester type primer, or a polyurethane type primer. We use polyesters in the fiberglass, and use a good urethane type clear. Everything's activated. It's simple. So Dorothy's coming along, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna try to do it regularly. We're gonna try to follow Dorothy through the process. Next time you see it, maybe tomorrow, it may be off the car, and we may be painting the bottom. I don't know. We'll see. But that's it for today. Like, subscribe. What else do? Notifications. Share this if you would. Tell people we're doing live at 11:05 again.
Comment and tell us what you want to see more of, or
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do some comments. Tell us what you want to see, because we're not doing this for. I mean, we're doing this to help you accomplish your dream, building a car. We build them every day, so I'm not. We just want to help you do it. So have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.